Hi, and welcome to part 2, The Heavens Declaring a New Song. So on April 16th or 416 at exactly 4:44, Mars, the planet of war, is at the heavenly gate star. That star is named Zeta Tauri. It is the tip of the horn, the southern horn of Taurus, the bull, in the celestial silver gate, which is the gate of man in Taurus. And Taurus is a constellation that represents Jesus coming back to both rescue but also judge. And we can see that over here. So we can see how in the constellation Taurus, the planet Mars, if we draw a line through the ecliptic, exactly lines up with the star Zeta Tauri, the heavenly gate. And one day later, the 17th of Mars, Mars is joined by the moon. The moon is a bright type and rises at 9:24 in Jerusalem. And note the timestamp of 9:24 because September 23 and 24 was the culmination of the Revelation 12 sign. And then the moon bride will occult Mars, will traverse in front of Mars in the constellation Taurus. And that occultation will be visible in parts of Asia, and that is relevant as well. And then the moon rises to her highest point in the sky. That is called culmination at exactly 1644. So we can see that both the timestamp of 444 with the daybreak on April 16 of the sun and the lunar culmination, the highest rising of the moon on April 16th, forms the other marker or maybe even a bookend of 1644. So if we go to the visuals once again, so Mars lining up with the heavenly gate on April 16th at 4:44. And the next day, the moon, the young moon, will occult Mars at that same location. And the location in between Taurus and the constellation Auriga, the constellation Gemini, and Orion, this section is called the Heavenly Silver Gate. And we talked about before that the constellation Auriga, the charioteer who holds a female goat and her two kid goats, brings them into safety, and how the constellation Gemini represents not two brothers, but biblically that is the bride and her groom. And Orion, the Lord, coming back with a strong arm to judge. So here is the lineup of the new moon is about to occult Mars at the star Zeta Tauri, and then the moon will continue into the section called the Heavenly Silver Gate. So this occultation of Mars by the moon will be visible in a specific part of Asia, and I think this is the occultation data, 17th of April at 15:08 Israel time, and the 9:24 rise of the moon and the 1644 exact culmination. And this is the area where that lunar occultation of Mars will be visible. And I was reminded that the world elite marked this particular region by Obama, the first beast, just prior to the annual solar eclipse of December 2019, but also previously with the downing of the airplanes Malaysia Air MH370. So this is the location of the downing of that particular airplane, and the prophetic meaning is being analyzed by Watchman Louis Vega, and in the article you can find the link to his analysis. So this is the area of Kuala Lumpur, and that exact region was visited by Obama just prior to the annual solar eclipse, and that trajectory passed over this exact region as well. And we can see how Obama was connected to that annual solar eclipse, but also we can see the onset of judgment, that picture of the CIA badged Osama bin Laden, who is calling forth the waves, calling forth judgment. And we can actually in the background see a lunar occultation of a red planet, which could very well be Mars. So this is another visual of that area I just described in between Taurus the Bull, Auriga the Charioteer, Gemini the Bride and Groom, and Orion the Hunter as the celestial silver gate. And on the American Peninsula, New York, the city of New York, with its WTC area, where the Twin Towers were taken down and replaced by the One World Tower that is also designed along the Orion pyramids. So the area of New York on the American Peninsula is designed along the Silver Gate, and San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge has been aligned with the celestial Golden Gate. If you'd like, you can look in the text for the analysis of the ritual marking by Obama of the Kuala Lumpur area and the Twin Towers over there just prior to the annual solar eclipse, the Malaysian MH370 plane disappearing, its prophetic implication, as well as the description of the celestial silver gate by Watchman Louis Vega. So you can find it in the text over here. So on April 16th, exactly at 4:44 as well, on the other side of the ecliptic, Venus, the type of the beloved, she is currently developing into an evening star, but not yet visible until April 19th. So the distance then between Venus and the Sun is sufficient for Venus to become apparent. And Venus is currently in Aries, the lamb or ram, and Aries holds his front legs on the ribbon of Pisces, about to set his faithful free. And this is what that looks like. So Venus on April 16th is already in the constellation Aries, the lamb or the ram, and right next to the upright fish and the ribbon which is holding the fish, connected still to Cetus the sea monster with Mercury nearby. So we can see that on April 16th, the Sun is approaching that ribbon, but not yet crossing it. And Venus is already in Aries. But one day later, the picture looks even more promising, because on April 17th, the Sun is crossing that celestial ribbon, the ribbon of the upright fish, those believers with a heavenly calling. April 17th, the Sun, which is the type of the bridegroom, traverses or crosses the ribbon of the upright fish Pisces, a finish line picture in the heavens. The upright fish pointing to believers with a heavenly calling, explained over here. And that is also represented in Elijah's rapture. And there is a detailed description of the interplay between Elijah and Elisha. And we know that Elisha was aware, and he knew exactly which day Elijah would be raptured. And besides them knowing upfront when the rapture would take place, they were also witnessed by believers standing from a distance. And the location Pisces is also connected to Jesus, his second ascension. Remember the first ascension right after he met Mary at the tomb. Before he went into the upper room, he ascended to the Father for the completion of the blood atonement. And then at his second ascension, his last ascension, that took place under the constellation Pisces. So the area this is taking place in, this is a beautiful old visual. This is the ecliptic where the planets are traversing from right to left. And this is where the Sun will be exactly April 16th April 17th, the moon will be in the Lamb, in Aries, the Lamb. And look at how not just the upright ribbon of Pisces, but also the shackles of the princess bride who is saved but not yet freed to go into the to go into the throne room, how she is shackled exactly at this location as well, waiting for her liberator, her bridegroom, to free her. And these are two visuals of analysis done by Louis Vega. One is of the prophet Elijah, the one with the upright calling, the type of the bride of Christ. And the other is of Elisha, those who were sent out, a picture of Israel, and how the constellation Pisces is a representation of that interplay between these two. In addition to the upright fish of Pisces being connected to Jesus, his own ascension. And then we're going to see a representation of the new song in heaven, because on April 16th as well is also the start of the annual Lyrids, the meteor shower from the constellation Lyra, the harp. And that is derived from particles dropped by a comet, C 1861 G1 Thatcher, and that meteor shower runs from April 16th to the 30th, and it peaks on April 22. So the Lord is shining beautiful flashlights in the heaven, in the constellation Lyra. And that is one of the lesser known constellations. So let us take a look at what the constellation Lyra represents. Biblically, Lyra the harp points to the song of the Lamb, as well as the Lord's arrows being shot by Sagittarius. And biblically, we know that arrows are the children of the Lord. And we've shared in previous articles how I understand they point specifically to the 144,000 children of the Lord, the harvest workers, about to be shot back into the enemy camp for the end times harvest. So E.W. Bullinger has a beautiful rendition of Lyra. And I'm just chuckling because I'm hearing my daughter sing in the background. I don't know if you can, but if you hear singing, it's her. Anyway, E.W. Bullinger on Lyra. Praise waiteth for thee, O God, in Zion. Psalm 65:1. And when the waiting time is over, the Redeemer comes forth. Then the praise shall be given. We give thee thanks, O Lord God, the Almighty, which art, which wast, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power, and didst reign. Revelation 11:17. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him. Revelation 19:7. The 21st Psalm should be read here, as it tells of the bursting forth of the praise of the going forth of this all-gracious conqueror. The kings shall rejoice in thy strength, O Lord, and thy salvation, how greatly shall he rejoice. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies, thy right hand shall find out all that hate thee. Their fruit shalt thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men, for they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform. Therefore shalt thou make them turn their back. When thou shalt make ready thine arrows upon thy strings, this is where the harp comes in, against the face of them. Be thou exalted, Lord, in thine own strength. So we will sing and praise thy power. Psalm 21:1, 8, 10-13. So beautifully then does the harp come in here, following upon the going forth of his victorious horsemen. The song of the Lamb follows as naturally as does the song of Moses in Exodus 15. I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. And I'm noticing I'm almost at the 15-minute mark, so I'm going to break off this part of the video over here and see you in the third and final video with the rest of the Song of the Lamb, in addition to the visuals. And let's not forget the bridegroom crossing the line.